Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? And welcome back to the channel. Yes, today is Tuesday. No, there is no tool video today. I am working on some things. It did not happen. As most of you probably do know, the United States, America is going through kind of a trying time right now with the corona or COVID-19. And I'm just limiting myself where I go. I am still able to go to work. I work for the highway department as my full-time job, so we are needed there every day to just make sure everything runs properly. Roads are safe, signs are properly installed and not hit, run over, what have you. So we will continue to go to work. A lot of our stores here in Ohio, we have 67 confirmed cases as of today, March 17th. And we're just, I'm just, like I said, I'm limiting myself to my exposure because of my wife's sake. My wife does have a compromised immune system with having lupus, so we limit ourselves to what we do, where we go. So tonight, no tool video. I am going to start tearing down the second gen. There's some things I want to do to it and go on from there. So, but you know what? If you have not already done so, hit that subscribe button in your lower right hand corner and become part of the family, and also hit that bell notification so you're notified anytime I upload a video. So moving on, like I said, we've got to have all kinds of stuff here in the garage to do. I have a new vacuum system that I'm fabricating to put on. This is the new mower that was delivered last Thursday. Pretty stoked to be able to use it. And then also, I know I said, and a couple of you asked about the first start for the four-wheeler. Well, you see that right down there? We did have a first start for the four-wheeler. And we had some issues with it. I did not realize when I bought it right here, where the shifter comes out of the side of the cases. We'll go up here. That's what these are for back here. This is a new set of cases for the four-wheeler. Where this shifter comes out right here, this bottom part is busted off of that. So there really isn't a way to fix it. There is a company out there that turns one of these, a slug that you can put on there and TIG on. But I was able to pick these up for $250, $300, I think. I got the cases. And I got a set of gaskets up there, and he sent me a new bar control that's up there on top of my toolbox. So in the coming days, I do want to get that in here, get that tore apart, and everything that we have done, it has to be undone. It's got to be tore completely down. The cases have to be split and put back together. I've never done anything like that. Top ends are fine, no problem. I've never split a set of cases, you know, with that housing the transmission in the back side of the cases there. So I'm probably going to need some help from a friend of mine here in town that has a four-wheeler shop, works on motorcycles and stuff. And also to get that crank out of there, it is pressed in one of the sides of the case. I'm not sure which one, but I'm going to need his help on getting that taken care of. So anyway, moving on. Second gen work. There's some things I need to do, and I'm just gonna do it. It really needs to be torn down. The front timing cover is leaking. I don't know if that's the only issue that's leaking. I don't know if the pan gasket's leaking or whatever, but and then also that gearbox, steering gearbox, it needs to come off. Sorry, kind of stuttering a little bit, and we need to get it done. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. We have just a little bit of an issue with the loose steering. No tires are even moving. You can see how much that steering wheel is moving. There is quite a bit of movement there before it even begins to turn a tire. So tonight I want to turn my attention. I don't have a box in my hand right now. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to be sending this in a way to a company that I found online that builds just as good, if not better, boxes than the Redhead, Red Top, whatever you want to call it. This company is called, you know what, I'm going to leave it until I actually get it back. The reason I'm doing this now is because I talked to a UPS driver today He said they deliver a lot of medications, so their jobs are also secure. They're going to be going nonstop. The gearbox has to go to North Dakota. So he said, I talked to the gentleman that owns the cut business there in North Dakota. He said they're fine right now. They just shut down schools for just a couple of days, and then they're going to reassess and go from there. Here in Ohio, my son's school is shut down for 3 weeks for kind of a self-quarantine here at the house. So anyway, let's get tearing this steering box out. All right, in my case, there's an extra step that I have to do to be able to get my box out of its place, out of its home. I've got a steering box brace right here. I'm gonna have to take that down. Probably gonna go ahead and take off the sway bar and remove the end links and just take it down all in one piece. The steering box brace is held in place up here, 2 bolts on each side. With the steering box brace is held on in 2 different places with the sway bar. So if I remove the end links over there on each side, remove the 4 bolts, 2 on each side of the sway bar, I'll be able to get everything out of my way, and then remove this bearing block here, and everything will be out of the way. I can just lift the steering box straight down and not have to worry about dropping it on my head. Another thing that's going to be different on mine, if you look right up there, I do have the upgraded Borgeson steering shaft on my truck. So it's a little bit different situation than what most of them are. So we're going to get that removed. All right, inside the cab, one of the main things that you're going to want to do is you can leave your steering wheel straight, however you want to do it. The best way that I know how to do it is inside here, where your steering wheel turns. We have the controls, stuff like that. Some of them have stereo controls. Mine, all I have in mine is the cruise control and the airbag. Inside here, in between here, is something called a clock spring. What you want to do is make sure that this doesn't spin in circles and damage that clock spring. So you want to make sure your tires are as straight as you possibly can, and then just take a bungee cord, wrap it around it, and come down here underneath the seat someplace and hook it up. That way it limits that. Your steering wheel does not move. I've also saw some guys take and run some wire from the top and then go up here to your sun visor. That is not really necessary. What I've done right here with just the bungee cord, keeping it from moving around, is perfectly fine. So we'll leave that on there. And actually, if you wanted to put your wheel down all the way like that and use a shorter cord, it is perfectly fine also. So that is hooked up to the seat frame down here, and then I've got it wrapped around and hooked to the steering wheel itself, just to keep it from turning circles. All right, like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and remove my sway bar end links. And for me, mine have changed, is a 3/4 inch nut and bolt. Alright, as you can see, I went to start a time lapse, and before I realized it, my battery's dead. So right now I'm going to catch you up where I'm at. I did get the sway bar out and the steering box brace out. What I had to do to get the steering box brace out is actually take that nut off that way. There was just enough room in there like that. Actually, yeah, like that, to get a wrench on this underside right here and turn it off. It was very, very tight, and it did have Loctite on it up inside there. So I do need to get that drove out of that bearing block so I can put that on properly. I may have to get a new bearing block. You can pick these up any place. They're pretty common bearing block that they use. From this one here that I have is the BD Diesel. And these steering box braces, I think, are pretty essential. I feel they're pretty essential when you do have oversized tires on it. So I did get that off. That's frozen inside there, so I'm going to have to get that off there somehow, because I will need this piece to put my new steering box on. Like I said, that is all out. I have the lines out, and do you remember me telling you guys that I didn't feel that there was any need to have any shorty wrenches? Well, I'm 100% wrong. I did get the wrenches loose too before I went in and my wrenches. I did get the lines loose too before I went in and changed my battery. I went ahead and broke those loose and have those off. It's an 18 millimeter, but it would work very, very well if I had a set of shorty wrenches. So those are going to be in my future and in my toolbox. So let's go underneath the truck and show you where we're at. You can see I do have the steering column removed. Those are collapsible. One shaft slides inside of the other, and what you do is you just take and push that up and out of the way. The way these worked was there was a lock nut on this set screw right there, so those I just loosened up that lock nut and then turned the set screws out of the adapter up there. Because the Borgerson had a spline shaft and as far as a female, and then you put that squared adapter right there on the end of your steering box. So pretty much the only thing I have left to do is to remove the 3 nuts on the steering box and get that out of place. I also did take my crossover drag link off, or steering shaft off. As you guys remember, I do have a crossover steering system. It goes from one knuckle to the other, so that makes it really nice. I do believe I'm going to go ahead and take those off and get those painted up and make them look nice too. So there's a lot of things that I would like to do. I just don't know if I'm going to get them all done. So right now, let's get this steering box lowered. Or, I'm sorry, get this steering box off the truck. You take 13/16 and loosen up your bolts out here. Leave one of them in. Leave one of them in, leave it loose. Get a good grasp on it because it is very heavy, and then take your other hand, take that bolt out of there. Then you can take both hands and set it on the ground. All right, with everything off, I carried the steering box into the garage here and shut everything up. As you saw, it was completely dark. The only thing that I have left to do is to pull the pitman arm off. I do not have a pitman arm puller, nor did I bring one home from work, so going to have to stay the way it is for tonight, and then I'll get it boxed up and shipped out tomorrow. As soon as I get home, I'll get this pitman arm pulled off and get it in a box, get it shipped, and all will be good. These are oriented. They will only go on basically one way, essentially. I mean, you can actually turn them a quarter turn each way and get them on if you want to, but as you can see right there, there's that bigger gap right there in the spline on the end, and that is on 4 sides of this shaft and 4 sides of the inside of this pitman arm. So you just, anytime you take your pitman arm off, just make sure and put it back on so it points towards where your steering shaft comes down and attaches to the box. So those two should line up and you should be good to go. So like I said, I will grab a pitman arm puller from home, bring it home from work, get it put on, and get this in the mail and get it, well, I'll probably go UPS. I could leave the pitman arm on there, but that's just extra weight that's gonna cost me to ship it to North Dakota to get it rebuilt, and I don't wanna do that. So it's already gonna cost enough because of the weight of the steering box itself. You guys might be wondering why I just don't run to O'Reilly, AutoZone, Advanced Auto, and buy a one from there. When you have oversized tires like I do on this truck, it really, really wears on those steering boxes, and also it does help immensely having this steering box brace on there. I do not know if this is the stock steering box. I've never had one of these off of one of these trucks before. I've had it off a half ton and it looks nothing like this. It has a splined end shaft on it with a piece mill, or with the center of it milled out, and then a bolt goes through there to hold the steering shaft on. So this, I do not know if this is the right box that goes on there, or if somebody's upgraded it with like a 3rd gen box. I know there is some forums and stuff out there where guys talk about they take the 3rd gens and they upgrade it with the 4th gen steering box. So I'm not 100% certain if that's the right box, so we're just gonna send it to him and get it coming. I do not want to go with Redhead because Redhead is all over the place. Not saying they have a bad product. I just want to do something different. I've talked to this guy 2 different times. He likes the fact that he is going to have his product on YouTube, and he likes the fact that there's going to be more than just one video. There is one other video on YouTube that's using his box. So anyway, I'm gonna get this shipped out to him tomorrow and hopefully get it back soon. I hope all of you are healthy and safe from the coronavirus. I hope all of you guys are doing well. Everybody is in my prayers. Stay healthy and stay indoors. Watch videos. Man, I had to throw that out there. Anyway, guys, if you don't mind, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already done so, and we'll talk to you guys later on.